Raito is a boring introvert who never talked to a single girl in his life. In high school, he finally tries with the quiet girl sitting next to him and gets rejected, so he stops simping, and that same girl suddenly becomes obsessed with getting his attention. On a normal day, Raito noticed that Aharon's eraser had dropped to the ground. He picks it up and hands it back to her, but she shows no reaction. Later, before the next class, she unexpectedly leans close to his face and mumbles something. Raito gets shocked at what she actually is trying to do and realizes that maybe this whole time she was moving her lips and was actually replying to him. Finally, Aharon tells him that she actually forgot her textbook and wants him to share his with her. In the next lesson, Raito shares his textbook and gets surprised by why this girl is sticking so close to him. During lunch break, Aharon again leans close to his face and says something, and this time it turns out that she actually wanted to eat lunch together with him. After seeing her lunch, Raito compliments it, so she forces him to eat some of it and even feeds him with her own hands. After school, Aharon even forces him to walk home together with her. While going home, she suddenly spots a game center where they take some photos, after which they go to karaoke and sing. The next morning, Raito comes to class early. Just then, Aharon arrives at class and is totally expressionless. Raito greets her, but this time she walks right past him without saying anything, like nothing happened. During the classes, they sit like total strangers, and Raito thinks that maybe she was just a gold digger, and after she realizes he is broke, she loses interest in him. But Raito notices she is just nervous. He instantly slams his desk along with Aharon's desk and again offers to share the textbook with her because she looks like she forgot one. Finally, Aharon tells him that back in middle school, when she approached other people, she had never been able to judge how close she should be, and every time she thinks she is getting along with someone, she gets too familiar and too close, which makes them uncomfortable and leaves her alone. She explains that yesterday, when he gave her a eraser and talked, it made her happy. So finally, Raito tells her that she does not need to worry about it. Because his father is a director in the FBI, this makes Aharon completely happy, and she hugs him instantly. The next day, after class, she again leans too close to Raito and whispers in his ear that she wants to eat lunch with him again, so they both end up on the school roof where no one can see a 5'7" Raito with a 4'6" or make a video of him. Before eating, Aharon asks Raito about his lunchbox, so he tells her that his parents don't usually make food for him because they are on a business trip, so he buys the lunch from the cafeteria. Hearing this, Aharon offers him her own lunch, but when he refuses, she forces him to eat it. The next day, Raito comes to class and sees her about to lose consciousness because of last night's yoga practice. When Raito tries to wake her up, she falls on his shoulder. Raito realizes that she is just tired and is sleeping, so he puts her back on her chair. During class, he gets shocked that she is actually paying too much attention in class with the perfect posture and open eyes. But after the bell rings, he goes to check, and it turns out that she's actually just sleeping with open eyes. Later, during the lunch break, Raito decides not to wake her up as she is sleeping and goes to buy lunch from the cafeteria. But Aharon instantly grabs his leg and tells him not to go to the cafeteria when he can eat her. She explains that she woke up early to make the lunchbox, and because of this, she became tired and kept sleeping in the school. Raito tells her not to worry about it because he is getting a free lunch and tells her that she can sleep however she wants, so she, by accepting Raito's offer, sleeps on his lap. One day, Aharon comes to class all wounded. Seeing this, Raito gets shocked and thinks maybe she is a delinquent and just had a fight before coming to school. But just then, Aharon comes close to his face, and Raito thinks she is going to kill him. Aharon instantly gives him a headbutt. Raito instantly says his prayers and goodbye to his mother as he is going to get killed, but finally, Aharon-san apologizes to him and reveals that she cannot open one of her eyes. Because of this, she cannot properly estimate the distance. She reveals that the wind was stronger today and dust got into her eyes, because of which she cannot open her one eye. Also, while coming to school, she bumped into various things because of this. For this, Raito pulls out the eye drops he has in his bag and gives them to her, but when she uses it, she gets it all over her face, and before someone sees them and calls the cops on Raito, he instantly decides to do it himself, so he simply makes her sit on a desk and asks her to open her eyes, but because of the dust she cannot open them, so Raito forcefully opens her eyes, but still, before the drop can go into her eyes, she moves and causes the drop on her face again. Finally, Raito forcefully grabs her whole mouth and drops the eye drops into her eyes. Aharon-san finally tells him that having his face so close is embarrassing, so Raito instantly backs off. Later, during the lunch break, to thank Raito for his help, Aharon again forces the lunchbox onto his face. Suddenly again, the wind blows and some dust particles go into Raito's eyes, and this time, to give back the favor, Aharon decides to apply the eye drops for him and again makes a whole mess on his face. Raito comes to class and finds Aharon sleeping on both chairs without any worries, so he grabs her by the arm, but suddenly he hears someone calling him, and when he looks behind him, he finds no one. Later, while going to another class with Aharon-san, again someone calls Raito's name. When he turns back, he again finds no one, so he gets suspicious that maybe he is being tailed by some assassins and remembers what bad bad things he has done in the past, which would include he smashed the flowers and ate his little sister's pudding. He thinks of himself as a sinful person and decides to make amendments to it. But this feeling of someone tailing him does not go away, even while he changes clothes, and during the toilet he feels someone is watching him secretly. Because of this pressure, Rado gets depressed, so a heron hugs him to comfort him. Finally, when Rado calms down, he again hears someone calling him, so he instantly rushes to the voice, and when he opens the door, he finds a big girl standing in front of him with a fighting stance. Rado gets shocked by seeing a girl bigger than him and thinks he's going to be killed. But actually, this girl is just a crybaby, and seeing Rado, starts crying. Just then, a heron comes and recognizes this girl as Oshiro, on which Rado realizes she is somehow related to a heron. Later, on the school roof, a heron finally calms down this girl by petting her, and when Rado asks a question about why she was tailing him, the girl instantly gets scared and a heron again has to calm her down. Finally, Oshiro shouts at Rado to stop deceiving a heron and tells him that because she is small, she cannot leave bad people behind, and that's why, as her childhood friend, she has been protecting her. But Rado instantly realizes that Oshiro is the one who is being protected. She tells him that during middle school and high school, she has been looking over a heron, which basically made her a stalker. But anyway, she tells Rado that because he is too scary this time, she was unable to do anything. Hearing that he is an ugly, pathetic loser from a girl, Rado gets depressed, and a heron has to calm him down too. As Oshiro tells a heron to get close to Rado, a heron finally tells her that Rado is not a bad person or scary. He is just a Finally, Oshiro gets calmed down, but tells Rado that she won't let him deceive her too much, and as things have come to this, she warns him that from now on, she will continue to keep an eye on him while keeping her distance, and she does this, even keeping an eye on him while he is peeing or having lunch with Aharen, or even just sitting in the class. The day after tomorrow, Rado comes to class and notices Aharen is wearing a mask, and realizes she must have caught a cold. Suddenly, Aharen notices that Rado's zip is open, and she can see his strawberry. Aharen instantly gets panicked and tries to tell Rado, but because of her cold, Rado only hears some whisper and coughing voices. The class is about to start, so she uses gestures to let Rado know in case the teacher calls him to stand up. While he is in fantasy, he won't be able to hold his sausage inside, but Rado thinks that maybe Aharen is motivated, so he also decides to be more motivated today in his studies, but doesn't know how hard Aharen wants him to not get his bull motivated. Later, when the teacher asks someone to solve a problem, Rado instantly raises his hand, but Aharen stops him and raises her hand and goes to the board to solve the problem. Rado thinks he is lost, but decides to win the next round. In the art class, when the teacher asks someone to be a model, Rado again volunteers, but Aharen tries to stop him. The teacher notices them, and both end up being models. Just like this, Rado remains motivated the whole time in every class, while Aharen tries to hide his open door of magical wand. When the day is finally over, Rado gets completely tired, but now it's time to go home, and Aharen quickly gets motivated again. While going home, Rado starts wondering that Aharen is different today. Suddenly, he notices his reflection in the mirror and instantly realizes what Aharen was trying to do, and finally guesses that she must have cut her hair, and the shock of his realization makes Aharen collapse on the ground. Finally, Rado reaches home and greets his sister while wondering what Aharen was trying to do. His sister instantly tells him that his peanut path is completely open, and Rado instantly falls on his knees, regretting not noticing before. One day, Rado realizes his hair has gotten longer, but when Aharen comes into class, he gets completely shocked because her hair is even longer than his. First, Rado thinks maybe his zip is again open, but then thinks maybe Aharen just joined that metal band. Aharen simply whispers to him and tells him that her bedhead is just terrible today. She tried to correct it, but it didn't go well. Rado decides to help her later. He tries various things, but all fail, and realized if the student guidance council sees her like this, they might give her a buzz cut. While thinking of an idea, he instantly realizes something and opens the locker behind him, from which Oshiro appears. Realizing she just got discovered, Oshiro runs away in panic, but Rado stops her and asks her a favor. But to Oshiro, he just looks like a gorilla. Finally, Oshiro stops after hearing Aharen-san, who explains to her that she wants her to fix her bedhead. Meanwhile, Rado gets totally surprised that Oshiro can actually hear her at that distance. Anyway, later Oshiro gets everything ready, which surprises Rado that she is going to do things in a proper and authentic way. Finally, Aharen tells Rado that Oshiro lives at a barbershop and they used to cut her hair. Just like this, Oshiro gives her a haircut, and Rado remains too worried that she might cut off her hair too much blush and thinks maybe she will intentionally make her hair worse so no other peasants like Raido approach her anymore. But in fact, Oshiro just simply gives her a nice haircut, though she still gets scared by Raido's look and voice. Raido thanks her for helping them, and as gratitude, Oshiro also offers to cut his hair. Instantly realizing that Raido can save the allowance he usually spends for a haircut, he instantly agrees. When Oshiro starts cutting his hair, Raido gets completely shocked by the aura and thinks she might make him bald because he thinks Oshiro resents him, but she actually gives him a perfect look, and Raido tells her that he actually misunderstood and thought she would make him bald because of jealousy. So she reveals that she is actually jealous of him and cannot decide if she wants to make him bald or not, but because he is with a heron, she just forgives him. Finally, Aharon thanks her and they take Oshiro with them to eat lunch on the school roof, and Aharon decides to feed her, but Oshiro just remains too far away because of embarrassment, so they have to use the long chopsticks. While eating, Raido notices that there is some problem with Aharon, and when he asks if she needs any help, Aharon tells him that her skin is rough, and not only her hand, even her lips are split too. To take care of them, she hands him a lip balm, and when Raido suggests applying it on her own and Aharon tries it, Raido instantly realizes what the hell he just said from his mouth and decides to help her put it on. After putting it on, Raido instantly realizes he just messed up more, and if he doesn't do anything fast, Aharon is going to be covered in cracks. Just then, Oshiro offers to apply it, and Raido instantly agrees. And as a professional, she first applies some other lotion on her, and after it, she simply applies it on the lips. After completing perfectly, Raido realizes how amazing Oshiro is. Oshiro suddenly notices Aharon's eyebrows need some work. She tidies them up and even gives her a massage. After full service, Raido asks her if she has any cream because her hands were also in bad condition, and as expected, Oshiro also has cream to apply on hands. After applying it on her hands, Aharon takes some and also applies them on Raido's and Oshiro's hands. One day, Raido notices Aharon in a gaming arcade and goes to greet her, but she instantly gets scared from seeing Raido. Raido also gets shocked by the face she makes, as he has never seen her like this before, and thinks that maybe she has amnesia and forgot all about him. Now she thinks he is a complete stranger. He tries to remind her that he is Raido, and after hearing his name, Aharon instantly remembers him. When he notices she is not able to grab any toy, he decides to help her and finally gets one in one try and gets happy that after seeing her technique, she finally learns how to get one. Aharon instantly thanks him for his amazing work. Raido also gets shocked by her reaction and realizes that at a time like this, she is different from normal, and it must be that her personality has become unstable due to her memory. He realizes that at a time like this, he should use an approach where he does not contradict her or anything and let the conversation flow as freely as possible. So they play games where Aharon is completely suck at game, so she tries to use coin games where she wins a lot and thanks Raido cheerfully. Later, they go to eat something and buy takoyaki, from which Aharon only takes half, and when Raido tells her that she does not need to force herself, he can buy two for her. Aharon tells him that eating a whole one by herself fills her up, and with that she will ruin the dinner. Raido instantly gets shocked and asks who she actually is, as she totally looks like Aharon but is not the one he actually knows. And the main evidence is that there is no way that Aharon would have that small of an appetite, and he comes to a conclusion that she is her body double, who someone raised alongside her in order to take her place, and instantly asks her to tell where real Aharon is or he will call the police. Then the real Aharon shows up, and Raido gets completely shocked, upon which Aharon tells him that this one is actually her little brother, who sometimes wears her uniform and is actually in elementary school. As Aharon talks a lot about Raido at home, that's why when Raido introduced himself, this little brat instantly realized he is Raido from his sister's class, and he just simply let it all happen to hang out with him. On a normal day, Raido is in one class with a teacher who is very strict and mysterious to all the kids. She is teaching them when one of the classmates of Raido Ichikawa talks with someone, so she instantly tells him to stop talking during the class. Actually, she does not want whispering or murmuring to obstruct the enjoyment of the text, but now she suddenly notices Aharon and Raido sitting together. She thinks maybe they both are dating and are flirting in the class, and they should pay attention to the class instead. But suddenly, she realizes that they are not flirting with each other. Actually, Aharon forgot her textbook, so Raido is sharing it with her. In fact, he is letting her see more of it than he can see himself. Seeing the kindness by a high school boy to a high school girl, this teacher instantly gets shocked as her vibrator gets on with this type of things and feelings. But as she realizes she is in the class, she must not get her desired change and has to stay alert, as she likes classical work with faithful romance too much, so whenever she sees a couple, she gets excited. Now as for Aharon and Raido, they seem cool at first glance to her, but actually look passionately intertwined. Anyways, she continues teaching the class, but now suddenly notices Aharon is sitting on Raido, which makes her heart flustered. She realizes they have gotten even closer than before. As her heart is about to explode, overload, she somehow controls herself and realizes that this time, Aharen is actually thoughtful. She moved to a location where both of them could be able to see the textbook well, and as a result, they are now on top of each other, which looks incredibly touching for her. While trembling, she holds her desire and again teaches the class. A splendid scene gets her attention, and she realizes Raito is holding Aharen with one hand because the person in front of them is too tall, because of which Aharen cannot see the board, so Raito is hugging her to hold her up so that she can see over him. Seeing this wonderful kindness of the boy, she loses her mind and collapses. On a rainy day, Aharen-san is sitting in the class, so Oshiro comes to her class and finds Raito is absent today. She gets relieved that the loser is not in class today, and she can watch over Aharen to her heart's content. Suddenly, she realizes school is over, but Aharen is not leaving and realizes she must have forgotten her umbrella, so she decides to give her own umbrella and throws it to her. Aharen first thinks that it must be a prank and checks for any vibration. After confirming it, she just simply gives it to the teacher, and the teacher gives the umbrella back to Oshiro. After this, when Aharen goes to the toilet, Oshiro places the umbrella on her desk, to which Aharen gets scared and thinks there must be a spirit pranking her and seals the umbrella. Finally, she notices Oshiro, who gets completely shocked and instantly runs away. But Aharen instantly follows her. Though she is so slow, even then, Oshiro cannot escape this wake gate until she ends up cornered where the school roof door is locked. So Aharen this time pulls out her umbrella from her bag to give her, and they both go home together. But a girl with a pretty big personality and reasons, Aharen's height does not get a good match with an umbrella, so Oshiro offers to hold the umbrella because Aharen cannot reach her head properly. Just then, a car passes by and splashes water on Aharen. Both decide to wait for the rain to stop and take shelter in the nearby shop. Aharen sneezes from the cold, so Oshiro gives her her extra jacket. Suddenly, Oshiro says that she thought she was going to scold her, but Aharen simply comes close to her and thanks her for her kindness and for all the time coming with them on their way home. Oshiro first gets surprised, but suddenly, when she realizes that Aharen knows that she is just a stupid stalker with big knockers, she instantly runs away from the embarrassment, and the next day, while Aharen is going home with Raito notices that Oshiro is keeping her surveillance more discreet than usual. One day, Raito comes to school but has a cold and turns into a When Aharen comes to class and sees Raito's different look and personality, she instantly starts blushing and cannot realize what to say. Just then, Ichikawa, Sato, and Oshiro come to Raito, and when they also see that he has turned into a flustered and instantly start complimenting him. During the teacher's lecture, when she sees that Raito has turned into a it and collapses. Suddenly, Raito collapses on the ground, and instantly all four of them rush to help him and even offer to carry him to the nurse's office. But after a few minutes, Raito again gets better and takes leave to go home. When he comes back home, he starts changing clothes because they are soaked in sweat in front of his little sister, who also blushes and asks him to not start undressing there, and gives him a change of clothes and takes care of him. After taking a rest for a day, Raito completely gets better and becomes straight again. When his sister comes to check on him and realizes he is back again, her expression and mood instantly change toward him. Same happens at school. When they all realize he is back as straight, they all also go back into their pathetic mood. One day, Aharen is absent from the school because she has a cold, so Tubero teacher gives Raito some printouts to give to Aharen. While going to Aharen's house, Raito suddenly sees Aharen with some really big personalities and gets completely shocked. He does not realize what is happening and where those two balloons came from. Suddenly, he sees Aharen grab a katana, and Raito's fantasies assume that these tense glares are for a seasoned warrior, and he comes to the conclusion that Aharen is a time traveler. She is an assassin who was sent here from the future in order to change the past. Suddenly, this Aharen with big jingle bells comes closer to Raito and asks him where he is staring. When Raito asks if she is not Aharen, the girl instantly recognizes Raito and tells him that she actually is Aharen's little sister, and 13. Raito gets shocked that the little ones in this family are on another level, so Raito decides to give her the printouts to pass them to Aharen. But this girl, who introduces herself as Eru, gets angry about why she should give it to her. Raito thinks that maybe they have a familial discord, but Eru tells him that Aharen will be more happy if he brings the printouts himself. As Raito was also thinking about giving Aharen something to eat when they go to their house, he asks advice from Eru, who first gets angry, but then shows him the things she bought that Aharen will like. She also forces Raito to use these, and instead, he should give them to Aharen because she will be more happy by receiving them from him. Suddenly, she notices a crane machine and tells Raito that Aharen actually wanted this specific toy, and she is deciding to get one for her. Raito thinks like her sister Eru will also be very professional in crane games, but she spends all her money and cannot even get one. Raito realizes that it's his turn, and in the first go he gets the toy and gives it to Eru to give her sister as a gift. But Eru instantly gives it back to Raito and tells him that her sister would be more happy if she received it from him, and decides to go home. But she also gets angry and tells him they should not go together or she will instantly realize it. Rado finally arrives and notices Eru is also there and glaring at him. Rado gives Aharen the toy she wanted and Aharen thanks him, but Rado reveals the truth that her sister was the one who told him that she wanted this toy. So as thanks, Aharen instantly hugs her between these soft cushions. After this, Rado also shows the bag where Eru bought a lot of things for Aharen, which makes Eru a bit embarrassed about this, and it turns out that she also bought a tuna and that katana to make a tuna dish for her. One day, while going home, they again pass by the game market and suddenly Rado realizes that his pet is gone, but suddenly he notices Aharen sticking to the crane game with plushies inside it. Rado thinks she wants one, and to make her mood, he decides to get one for her, but he cannot even get a single one and wastes all his money. Finally, he decides to give up for 2 days and asks Aharen to come next time, but Aharen wants it more than Rado, so she pulls out a 500 coin and calls her servant in the store to bring a stool so she can see everything properly. Surprisingly, she gets the toy in the first go, so Rado again asks her that they should go, but she again gets another toy just like this. Finally, Aharen collects a lot of them, and before they are about to leave, she calls Rado and hands one to him and tells him that it looked like he wanted this one, so she gave all to Rado. Now, as thanks, Rado gives one back to her. Later at home, Rado comes home with a lot of toys in his hand, and seeing them, his little sister asks him to give one to her, but he refuses as tonight he's going to use all of them, and just like this, he places them on his bed before sleep. One day, while going to school, Aharen suddenly grabs Rado, and he realizes that she has been calling him but he did not notice, so he apologizes to her. He still cannot understand what Aharen is saying, so at home he decides to do something so he can always know what she is saying. First, he decides to learn lip reading, and decides to practice it with his sister, and asks her to call him something, so his sister calls him dip. The next day, when he tries to read lips, he realizes that he cannot do lip reading on Aharen because her lips are not even moving. While in class, Rado suddenly notices the other classmates are using notes to chat with each other and decides to use this method with her. But Aharen takes it to another level and uses notes even while he is changing clothes or standing to pee. Finally, Rado begs her to stop it and decides to think of another way. He remembers that one time when she headbutted him, he could hear her clearly and comes to a conclusion that maybe it is because of bone connection and asks her to do a headbutt next time. But in this method, Rado cannot bear Aharen's headbutt more than 3 times and calls this off. After this, Rado does not give up. He even tries telepathy, arrow messages, pigeons, even hand signs, but none of them work. Seeing him depressed, Aharen comes to him and thanks him for even trying different things for her sake. But Rado feels guilty and apologizes to her and tells her that he will find a way so she does not have to speak louder to communicate with him. But Aharen reveals that she is just speaking normally and not raising her voice to talk to him, which shocks Rado. And finally, he thinks that maybe his hearing is getting better because of Aharen-san. One day, Tuburo and Miyahira meet in the school hall. It turns out both are friends too, and they decide to eat lunch together. They go to the school roof, and while eating, Rado and Aharen also come to the school roof to eat lunch at their usual spot. Seeing both of them, Tuburo's head starts spinning, but she gets confident this time, as ever since that day she has been imagining these two in various kinds of situations, and now she is fully confident that no matter how much they get close, she won't collapse. While Rado and Aharen eat their lunch, Tuburo notices Oshiro on the rooftop who is watching both of them. She concludes that it is a love triangle, and after looking closely, she notices Oshiro is not paying much attention to Rado, but she is more focused on Aharen, and finally realizes Oshiro has serious feelings for Aharen. Tuburo didn't predict this body blow out of nowhere, but she barely holds herself. Meanwhile, Aharen and Rado catch Oshiro, and Tuburo's climax gets more interesting. Finally, Oshiro jumps down from the roof while defies all the gravitational laws and makes an Avenger bounce. After this, Tuburo thinks maybe she will sit right next to Aharen, but she sits too far away, and the esteem gets even harder on Tuburo. Miyahira instantly gives her some water to drink, but when she notices Aharen using long chopsticks, because of this, Tuburo's blood pipe level rises up. When again she finally gets hold of herself, she notices Aharen and Rado sitting beside Oshiro. They both look after Aharen, which makes it feel like a sense of relationship as a family. This acts as a nuclear poignant family, and Tuburo collapses, and Miyahira instantly gives her 2 reasons some oxygen. One day, at a game arcade, Rado and Aharen noticed a booth of a Japanese rapper, so they decided to give it a try. When Aharen listened to the rapper, she instantly liked it. The next day, while everyone is going to school, Rado sees Aharen and greets her. In response, Aharen simply pulls out a mic from her bag and greets him back with a rap greeting and gives the mic to Rado. Rado is completely shocked that Aharen is rapping and realizes it must be because of the CD she bought yesterday. As rap is a form of music which is often used to convey a message, message, Raito realizes that the best way to communicate with Aharon is rap and tries to use the mic, but his rap is totally shit. He realizes that it is very hard and he needs practice. At home, he talks with his sister in rap. He even asks his mom about the dinner and her cooking in rap form, and after practicing a lot, realizes he is also now perfect. The next day, he greets Aharon with a rap greeting, and in response, Aharon also pulls out a mic and talks to him with a rap. Just like this, they talk and rap, and Raito realizes that they are communicating with each other more than ever before. During lunchtime, they also talk with each other and convey their messages in rap, and after doing it to their heart's content, they decide to do it again sometime and decide that they both will meet each other in a battle of words on a big stage. But later, the school teacher takes the mic away because it is against the school rules. Now, while going home without a mic, they both try rapping and talking with each other, but realize without a mic, they both are just shit in rapping. One day, Raito and Aharon's friends Ichikawa and Sato come to them and invite them to go to a festival together. They all agree, and Aharon happily lifts off the floor a tile and invites Oshiro too. On the day of the festival, Raito and Ichikawa arrive at the perfect time, and just after a few minutes, all three girls arrive in yukata. First, they compliment their clothes, after which Aharon instantly grabs Raito and Oshiro to take them to different stalls, but Raito finally stops her, saying that the stalls are not going anywhere and she doesn't need to rush. After this, Raito realizes that with this party, he can conquer most of the stalls in today's festival. Because Ichikawa and Sato are from sports clubs, Oshiro is well versed in various different sports, while Aharon isn't good at moving her body, but she is good at shooting and playing games. And as for himself, he has money from his parents, and by assembling this party of 5, he thinks that they can conquer almost every stall and game, but suddenly he notices that Aharon has already grabbed a bunch of food from different stalls, which makes it already too late for Raito to summon the party. Suddenly, Aharon notices a target practice stall and goes to try it, but it turns out she now doesn't have any money, so Raito decides to pay for his weak member of the party. He first moisturizes the bullet made of cork because he is thinking that when the space between the barrel and the cork is moisturized, the power of the shooting will increase, and decides to aim for the top right corner, and with this plan the number 1 prize gets hit, but by Oshiro, and Raito almost misses every shot and now decides to give up, as he does not want to get poor on just a practice game. Oshiro gives the prize to Aharon as a gift, and as thanks, Aharon offers them to take any snacks they like from her collection. Oshiro instantly takes the long sausage. In this festival, Tuburo is also visiting with Miyahira, having trained a lot more than before, and is now not affected by any couples. But suddenly she sees Aharon dragging Raito and Oshiro in the festival, and seeing the love triangle situation, she instantly collapses, and the whole crowd gathers around her. In this chaos, Raito suddenly notices that a little girl has grabbed his hand. Seeing his ugly face, the girl instantly gets shocked and starts to look for her father. After a few minutes, Raito also comes back to his senses and realizes Aharon is missing, and calls for Oshiro, but it turns out Oshiro is also not with him. Meanwhile, Aharon is wandering in the festival thinking she has Raito and Oshiro beside her, but after realizing both have left, she starts to tremble and realizes they are lost. The little girl instantly gets scared and warns Raito not to take any step or she will call the police. He first decides to help this little girl and asks her if she has her phone, but it turns out she forgot it at home, and when Raito decides to call her father from his phone, he realizes his phone also got lost, so he decides to take the girl to the lost, and the little brat first calls Raito a pathetic loser, ugly. But when he goes to find her father at the lost center, she instantly grabs his shirt and threatens him that she will yell if he does not keep her mouth shut. Finally, they reach the child lost center, where the volunteer calls the girl's father. When Raito is about to leave, the girl is about to start crying, so he decides to wait until her father comes. The brat keeps calling him but thanks him for his help. Finally, her father arrives, who thanks Raito, and they both leave. Now it is time for Raito to get serious about finding Aharon. But just then, he finds that Aharon is also at the Lost Child booth, and she instantly hugs Raito. And Raito realizes that his phone was in his other pocket this whole time, and when he checks, he realizes he has a message from Ichikawa that the fireworks are about to start, so they instantly rush to the site. Meanwhile, Tuburo finally wakes up after some rest, but when she again sees Raito and Aharon passing, she again collapses. After some random they finally are able to see the fireworks, but Aharon is too short, so she cannot see anything. So Raito decides to help her by allowing her to sit on his shoulders and wishes that she should squeeze her thighs even more so he can enjoy the fireworks at his peak. Meanwhile, Aharon finally sees the fireworks and later tells him that because of being short, she has never been able to see them that well, and that's why she didn't like these kinds of things much, but now she finally starts to enjoy them.